Hi, I'm Paul Williams, Ingram Micro, HPE Business Development Manager. Welcome to our Beyond the Horizon video. Today I'm joined by Julian Stiles from EvoLearn. Today we're going to be talking about HPE Flex Offers and the great advantages that this can give to you and your customers. So Julian, tell me about Flex Offers. What do our partners need to know to get the best out of this proposition?
So the idea behind Flex Offers is that they are bundles of HPE server and storage products, sometimes combined with Aruba networking products, and they're really specifically targeted for kind of SMB businesses to make them easier to sell. So they're targeted towards kind of specific workloads and specific solutions that we're seeing a lot of SMBs want to buy at the moment.
Okay, so in terms of the Flex Offers, what do the partners need to understand about this? Is it closed access? Can anyone access Flex Offers? Is it simple to do? What's the scenario around that?
So anyone that's an HPE partner can access the Flex Offers through the Ingram website, and there are various tools on there that you can look at bundles and see what they're made up of. Really, I guess the main thing that partners need to kind of be aware of is that because they're targeted to workloads, so it gives you that opportunity to talk to your customers about kind of what's important to them. So instead of thinking about them as kind of specific HPE servers and part numbers and speeds and feeds and storage, it's actually it's going to be a solution that's going to provide, you know, an office network or an office shared storage.
But my understanding is that these offers, they're not fixed, are they? So a traditional, when you're talking about a bundle, they're fixed to a certain kit list, if you like. Now, Flex Offers is somewhat different to that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So you'll find that there's a base kind of offer bundle that does obviously have hardware in it of certain specs, but what you can do within that offer is that you can actually upgrade it and you can add other parts and kind of really customize it towards a customer's solution.
And I guess as well that helps in terms of you can change the configuration to the customer's specific needs, but also that helps from a stock perspective. So you know, you can look at from an Ingram Micro perspective what Ingram have in stock. And then you can also tailor the builds to create that bundle to get it to your customer as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you look at kind of the typical or the traditional kind of quoting of kind of HPE products, you might pick the base product and add all of the components and then place an order, and it might take a while to come back, and then you find out that half the kit is kind of out of stock. So the whole idea behind these kind of Flex Offers is that you'll be able to see what's in stock and configure those into the deal for the customer.
Got you. Great. And also from the Flex Offers profile, how is it designed? Is it designed in terms of, you know, the best-selling products? How is it made up?
Yes, so HPE look at kind of what's happening in the SMB market, what HPE customers are kind of typically buying to help run their businesses, the solutions that they need, certainly in this day and age where we're kind of relying a lot more on technology. And HPE kind of create these bundles out of kind of the most popular products. So that they will be, you know, kind of the products that your customers want and are asking for anyway. But what you'll find is you'll be able to see the pricing, you'll be able to see the stock, you'll be able to customize them, and it's really easy to sell them.
And what about the pricing scenario on that? So is it created at the Flex? Are there any advantages to going down this Flex Offers route?
Yeah, that's a good point actually when you mention the pricing. So everything on the Flex Offers is kind of pre-discounted, so they're already got kind of the best pricing on them that you can get. And in actual fact, what you'll find is that the pricing on all of the hardware and all of the components is actually better than kind of other kind of HPE offers like Top Value. So you'll find you're going to get a better price, and they're in stock, and you can customize the solution. So it's kind of a win-win all round.
And all partners can have access to the Flex Offers portfolio as well, right? So
yep.
You don't have to be a business partner or a silver partner. Anyone can have access to these Flex Offers. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody that's an Ingram Micro customer will be able to see these offers on the website and access the deals. Yeah.
And that's great because then that gives everyone the price advantage, so they can position the HPE technologies to their partners at a really good price point.
Yeah, absolutely. So you get the price advantage. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot of people watching this video that are kind of, you know, that are competing with each other. But even though everybody's kind of getting the same pricing, you've still got that ability to customize the solution as well.
So smaller SMB partners have the same pricing structure as a large platinum partner in terms of the Flex Offers pricing. So it doesn't lock them out of a deal or an opportunity in terms of that sale.
Yeah, absolutely. It puts you on a totally equal footing with kind of like everybody else that's in the channel selling the solutions. Yeah.
Flex Offers have solution bundles which are geared towards the right use case, the right type of technology, the right products for a particular need for a small to medium business. What are they? How are they geared towards our partners?
So the bundles are kind of geared towards those sort of business outcomes that most of your customers are going to be interested in. I think what's important to remember is that kind of, most businesses are not buying servers and storage because they love servers and storage. They're buying them for a particular use case. So if you think about what's going on in the world today, there is a lot more technology that kind of all businesses need to support, even those smaller businesses. So the bundles are kind of targeted at different kind of solution areas, but also they're kept, the whole idea is that this is kind of all really kind of simple, easy to understand stuff as well. Because, let's face it, we're all in the IT channel, but most of your customers are not going to be. So actually what they want are solutions that get the job done, that are kind of really easy to use, that keep their business up and running, and that run the kind of the applications and the data. That's what we kind of tend to find, that a small business, their first thought is always kind of, well, what applications and data are going to power my business. They don't think what server shall I buy. They think about those workloads. It's
always driven by that. It's like what is the need of this opportunity, right? So it's really, I think it's really important that we do tell our customers and tell the channel that this is available to them, so it's not so complicated, and reduce that complexity, because like you say, no one's really looking and saying I need a server. It's always about that business need. What do they need it for? So with the Flex Offers, it makes it a lot easier to understand.
So that's absolutely it. So the great thing is, even if you as a salesperson don't know much about servers and storage, it gives you an opportunity to have a really good conversation with your customer, because actually what you're asking them is, what are your business goals? What are your business needs? What do you need this for? What are you trying to do with it?
To give them that compelling reason to push that sale forward, to help them to totally understand why they need to buy this technology.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, most of your customers they're gonna really know a lot about what applications they want to run the business, and they're going to know what data is kind of really important for them to have access to and be able to store. So you can kind of start the conversation that way. You don't have to talk about HPE servers and storage. You can ask, okay, what applications are important to you? What data is important to you? What are you trying to achieve? What do you need to keep your business going?
I think that's key. What do you want to try to achieve?
Yeah.
What do you need to achieve to drive your business forward? And then we can then position these bundles. And then we can tailor those bundles as well. So they're not fixed, but we can tailor them to their specific need.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's it's kind of like it's kind of like thinking about kind of selling, isn't it? You sell the customer what they need, not necessarily what they want. So if you can ask them what they need, what the outcome is, what they need it for, then actually, as you said, that really helps you pick the right product for the task, that's going to hit that business outcome. And of course, the big benefit of that is if you're not comfortable having a conversation about servers and storage and networking, actually, if you ask the customer what do you need, what are you going to use it for, then you can come to Ingram Micro. I know you've got a team underneath your pool of kind of lots of people, lots of sales advisors, lots of technical people that will be able to help pick the right kind of solution for the job as well. So those basic questions,
Well, I mean, if you ask your customer about a server, they're going to tell you about a server. So if you ask them about their objectives, you're going to get a lot more out of that conversation than just a new server, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's face it, we all know the phrase, the customer is always right. Actually, a lot of the time, they're probably not. If they come to you for a server and they specify, the processors, they specify the memory, they specify the hard drives, That's fantastic. That's really easy to kind of quote then, because you can give them exactly what they've asked you for, but that might not necessarily be the right tool for the job.
So it's moving away from a bill of materials that you're quoting to a solution.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So moving away from the speeds and feeds to actually something that's going to achieve what they want. Because, you know, they could potentially, it might be completely accidentally, they might buy the wrong product for the task. You know, they might under-spec it or over-spec it. They might be spending too much on the solution that they want. So by finding out what they want to use it for and what the outcome's going to be, they're going to get the right product for the job.
Absolutely. Yeah. So shall we look at the some of the bundles that HP have created?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So we'll look at some of the solutions,
So we're now going to look at the HPE Small Business Solutions. As we talked about, there's a myriad of different solutions that HPE can provide via Flex Offers. So what we're looking at, we've got solutions that almost carry through the whole entire sort of, you know, idea spectrum of what's available. So we're talking about remote workers to help them, you know, to help remote working, small office deployment, business continuity, hyper-converged. What else have we got? We've got virtualization, shared storage, even database and applications, and really down to just the general purpose type solutions. So what do HP include in these bundles? Can you give me some idea of how those bundles are made up and what they're actually going to do for the partners?
Yes, so the bundles are designed to support that kind of use case, really. But like we said, it's the whole idea is to make it kind of easier for you to sell and have that kind of more business conversation. So you mentioned remote working. Obviously, you know, we've had kind of the pandemic for the last few years where more and more people are kind of working from home. So what you'll see is there is a remote working bundle. So, you know, technically, yeah, absolutely, that contains, you know, a server and some storage. But actually the whole idea behind that is remember, it's to provide that kind of use case, that workload for the customer. Because if all of your staff are working remotely from home in different locations, it kind of makes sense to have all their data and applications somewhere central, you know, rather than on their individual laptops. You know, if you've got 10, 20, 30 people in your office, instead of having bits of data on 10, 20, 30 laptops all over the country, which could be, you know, security problems, or there's problems, you know, trying to work and collaborate on all of those applications. If you've got them somewhere central that they can all access, they've all got access to exactly the same information to do their day jobs. So that particular bundle will contain everything that you need to essentially hold the office applications that they need access to, that they all need kind of shared access to, and all the data, the information that they all need shared access to.
And I guess this is going to remain important. It's not just because of the pandemic, but I think the way that business practices have changed with the flexibility between going from home to the office to a different location, this remote working solution is really, you know, quite important, key to businesses moving forward, because they have to include that type of solution in their strategies. So it's really, really key to understand that and to be positioning it not just for the large enterprise type businesses, but for, you know, for all types of businesses where access needs to be fluid, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about it, it is a more mobile kind of workforce now, really. If you're going to spend a couple of days a week in the office and you're going to spend a couple of days a week on the road, you might be out and about visiting customers, you might be at, you know, conventions and road shows. Mm-hmm. You need access to your applications and your data. And like I said earlier, it kind of makes sense if that's all in one location, because all the people that you work with probably need access to the same information.
Yeah.
So to have it held centrally, stored centrally on a kind of you know, that everybody can get hold of it, rather than having it spread on all those different devices. So that wherever you are, you know, we're filming in a hotel today, you can turn up, open your laptop, and as long as you've got an internet connection, you've got all the apps and data that you need with you.
Yeah. You're never away from your office.
Exactly.
And what about the virtualization bundle? How do HPE configure that for us?
Yeah, so again, you know, virtualization is one of those, it sounds like a very sort of technical conversation, doesn't it? You know, people say about, oh, it's a virtualized kind of platform. It's really just kind of a more modern way of running applications. If you kind of virtualize them, run them as a virtual machine, which means they can run anywhere. So You know, a lot of businesses like running their applications as VMs, as virtual machines, because they have that kind of portability, so that they can, you know, they can run them in the office, they can move them to the cloud, they can move them to another server quite quickly and easily. So there's a lot of advantages for virtualization, but what you need to do that properly is obviously you need the servers to run the apps, you need some storage to store the apps, and you need some networking to connect them all together so you can move the apps. So that virtualization bundle essentially comes with everything you need to deliver a virtual platform to a customer. So even if you don't really understand virtualization, you kind of don't have to, you know, just if your customer wants a virtual environment, everything that you need to provide it is there.
Great. And moving into the next bundle, shared storage, which is quite important in terms of, not quite, very important in terms of virtualization. I think from a small to medium business point of view, shared storage is becoming way more important than it ever has done with the increase in data and, you know, the way that everyone is operating now. Shared storage is really important now.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, if you think about all of the files that you have access to or you need to do your day job, yeah, all of your PowerPoints, your emails, your video files, audio files, your social media files, your pictures, all of those files need to be stored somewhere. And again, you know, we want to talk about shared storage because there's a load of benefits to that.
Yeah.
Because if everybody's got their individual files on their individual laptop, that's a bit of a nightmare. What happens if you've got a PowerPoint, you know, on your laptop that I need access to do a presentation, and you're in Birmingham and I'm in Reading? That becomes a bit of a pain. Whereas if we can store everything, you know, on a shared platform that we all have access to, that means we can all access those files we want, you know, as and when we need them. But also the huge benefit is, if you think about it, again, if those files are on, you know, 20, 30, 40, 100 different laptops, that's a lot of disk space that you're kind of paying for to store them. You've got to protect those, you've got to secure those, you know, you've got to worry about, you know, where's that data going. If it's all in one shared central location, then I can back up that location. I know where the data is from a compliance point of view. Everybody still has access to it as and when they need it. So there's a lot more advantages to having it in one place that everybody can access.
And the cost now for HPE storage solutions, it's not a discouraging proposition. You know, there's some really good pricing, really high feature rich storage solutions in that SMB space. So it's not that the shared storage isn't just for the large enterprise partners. You know, we've got the HPE have got a lot of technologies there that can really drive in and add value to that the SMB space, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's there are a lot of kind of different storage products out there, but they are becoming easier and easier to use. We talk a lot about kind of AI solutions, being able to kind of manage and look after the storage to make sure it won't go wrong and that the data's always in the right place when you need it, as and when you need it. And of course the costs are coming down all the time as well. You know, storage just gets cheaper and cheaper.
I think the ease of use is key there, because what you're talking about is when we're talking about the small, medium businesses, they don't have rafts of IT staff. So it really does need to be very, very simple and straightforward to use and manage these solutions, which I think we can cover. You know, the HPE have got that covered from an ease of use perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. The kinds of dashboards that you get now, and even, you know, HPE are launching kind of cloud dashboards, so there's not even any software to install to be able to manage your storage. And it's not like, you know, when I started in the channel a long time ago, you know, if you wanted to run a storage device, you had to understand, you know, LUNs and RAID sets and provisioning and, you know, all this really complicated stuff. But now it's kind of, you know, you can dial into a nice kind of cloud screen, a nice dashboard, just say, you know, create me a shared drive that's got this much space, go, and it just happens. You know, you don't need to know how it happens, or you don't really care how it happens, as long as it happens.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the world that we're getting to, just easy dashboards that, you know, a few clicks and you're done. Yeah.
One thing that's relatively new in the sort of the market for the SMB space is hyper-converged. What's that? What's hyper-converged, and how is that important, and what's included from that perspective in the Flex Offers bundles?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Hyperconvergence is one of those kind of big kind of industry terms.
It's a bit of a scary phrase, right?
Absolutely, it's a very scary like hyperconverged. It kind of hits all of the buzzwords, and like I say, traditionally that has been the domain of kind of like the big enterprise customers, because these were kind of big, expensive systems. But now
it sounds expensive.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds expensive. So now it's moved really, the price points move really right down into kind of the SMB space. And really what it means is hyper-converged. If you kind of break it down, if you think about converged, what you're doing is you take lots of separate devices and you converge them, you bring them together. So if you think about, typically the virtual environment that we sort of talked about earlier, you need servers to run the applications, and then you would traditionally have separate storage devices to store the data for those applications and the virtual machines. Then you'd have other bits of software involved to make sure that you could move the data around and that the storage is configured properly. Then you might want to back that up, so you might buy some kind of backup appliance to be able to back up your applications and your data. So you could end up with dozens of different devices and software licenses and bundles of software to kind of create a virtual environment. And what hyperconvergence does is, hyper is just really shrinks it down to like, a box.
So I guess, as we're currently recording this, I know this is going across, this will be viewed across, multiple countries. Everyone's suffering from fuel increases and power costs. So in terms of hyperconverged, this is a really good opportunity to reduce your power bills, right? So, you just mentioned, 3 or 4 different things that are consuming power at quite a large rate. So reducing that footprint down into, that type of, one solution, it's got to be great for the bills for the electric and stuff like that. So, that's a byproduct and a really good advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about kind of infrastructure world, let's face it, for resiliency, redundancy, just to keep the stuff running because it's important. Every device you sell, every device your customer uses, has 2 power supplies in it. And they're 400, 600 watt power supplies times 2 per device.
It's like my son's bedroom.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you've got the PlayStation, you've got the PC, you've got the Xbox.
Yeah, it glows.
Yeah, absolutely. All of that, you plug all of those things in. They use a lot of electricity. They generate a lot of heat. So you've got to get rid of the heat. So you've got to plug other devices in to cool the room down. So they're really power hungry and expensive to run. And like we said, if you've got a rack that potentially has got 10, 20 servers in it, a couple of big storage devices, and each of those has got 2 power supplies. You can have 40 power supplies, in somebody's data center or server room, in the small level. And what hyperconvergence does is say, well, let's just squash all of those down into 2 boxes. We say 2 boxes for resiliency because in case there's a problem with one, there's an exact replica on the other one. But you go from 20 boxes to 2 boxes. Yeah. So you go from 40 power supplies to 4 power supplies. I'm terrible at maths, but even that's 10 times less electricity. So you've got the running costs are a lot lower, the licensing costs are a lot lower. It's a lot easier to manage, just look after, maintain, a couple of devices than it is 20, 30, 40 devices. So there's a lot of advantages to kind of hyperconvergence. Yeah,
it feels like there's a whole other session that we could do on hyperconverged. So maybe we should look at doing something specific about hyperconverged, because I think it's a really interesting, exciting proposition for companies at the moment.
Absolutely, and it's kind of like the ultimate virtualized platform because it also has all those features that we were discussing earlier, which is kind of the ease of use. So the beauty of it from your customer's point of view, if hyperconvergence is aimed at virtualization, so they might already know how to run VMware, but they might not have a clue how to run a server or storage device. The great thing about the HPE hyperconverged products is you don't need to learn a new screen, it just plugs into VMware. Yeah. So if you're used to using VMware, you literally just get an extra tick box, create me a large server, go, and the hyperconverged device will decide where's the best place to put the server, where's the best place to put the storage, how many copies shall I make to make sure that it's resilient in cases of failure?
Yeah.
Where shall I put those copies? You know, do you want them on premise? Do you want them in the cloud? Do you want them in a different office? And it's all done, you know, for a really easy to use dashboard.
Great. Julian, we spoke about Flex Offers, what it is. How do partners actually access the Flex Offers pricing? What do they need to do?
So the pricing is really easy to find. So on the Ingram Micro website, there's a tool called iQuote, and all you have to do is gain access to iQuote. So you might have to talk to your business manager about that. But once you've got access to iQuote, you'll be able to see all the offers and your pricing on there as well, which will help you build the quote really quickly and easily.
So Julian, how do partners access Flex Offers? What do they need to do?
So Flex Offers is accessed through the Ingram Micro website. So you'll be looking for a tool called HPE iQuote. And once you've found iQuote and you've got access to it, what you'll see is all the the Flex Offers listed on there, and you'll be able to pick the specific HPE bundle that you're interested in, and it's just a case of clicking on the bundle, and then you'll actually see it auto-populates with all the options that you can add. And the really great thing about that is, even if you're not a server and storage pre-sales guru, it only tells you the actual components that are compatible with those products. So you can pick products that are in stock that you know are going to work within the server, within the storage device. And of course you can build that custom solution and have all the pricing ready as well.
So my understanding with the Flex Offers is that you have to have a certain amount of options to unlock the special pricing. And I think that the tool itself will tell you when you've hit that level. So once you've got the right number of options in your configuration, it will then give you the Flex Offers pricing. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely spot on. So that you're picking the right number of options. But like I say, the great thing is you can't get it wrong. You can't get the spec wrong. It will check all of that for you, but it will give you that information about when you get to the right config for the right price. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for watching. I'd like to thank Julian for his time today. We've covered some really important topics today. If you want help or you need any more information, contact your Ingram Micro account manager or check out ingrammicrohorizon.com.